Luther College Norse getting back into action, traveling to Dubuque this Saturday, having a conversation with head coach Troche, and it's been a couple weeks since you were back out on the field. You had the bye week last week. You got a little bit of fall break this week. How you been managing your practice and preparation over the last couple of weeks, especially last Saturday, without a specific opponent to prepare for?
Yeah, just really focused on ourselves, our staff, and our players. Focused on getting healthy and taking it back to almost fall camp and really getting to the fundamentals and competing with not having an opponent to worry about. We can do some fun things that we always talk about that you save to the end of the season and give our guys the Saturday off so they can regroup and spend time together with their families. So some of our guys got a chance to go home and we gained a couple of days for game planning for our opponent. It was really good. I think we're fresh. I know the way we're running around and practicing, our guys are fresh right now.
And how have you been able to keep your guys fresh a little past the halfway point of the season?
The bye week helps, right? I mean, not going live, right, for a weekend, not going live in practice, but still competing at a high level, more thud tempo, and just really focusing on our leverage, winning our leverage, and how we fit versus the high impact of the tackle, bring them down to the ground. And so just scaling things back a little bit, which ultimately those are the things that we need to do because that's where a broken tackle comes in, whether we didn't track it correctly, when our leverage, our eye placement was bad. We can focus more on that versus them worrying so much about the contact and the finish. We just took a piece out of it.
And when you are working on technique, leverage, etc., all those things, and you're working at a thud level, how do you make sure that all of those things are done correctly without the full contact?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of body control and we're full speed until really after that we make contact. So as my shoulder makes contact with the thigh and I get right head placement, and before I really pull the legs in and drive and finish, it's I got to stop and then get out of the way. And our running back or receiver at that point needs to accelerate. And we call is run for two lines, right? So instead of saying 2 yards, we just talk about the lines. It's easier to see that.
And you got 4 games left in the season, and I'm asking you a macro question. I know your focus is on Dubuque right now, but when you look at the remaining 4 games, what are maybe some of the points of emphasis that you want to see out of your team in these remaining 4 games, and have they changed at all from the first 6?
Not really. We just focused on us and executing, and we're constantly building trust with our players. I think it just comes down to that is this weekend was really good for our players to watch a lot of college football. I know they're texting our coaches, like, especially the Tennessee game. Our guys were talking about route concepts they saw or some defensive coverages and things. It's like, that's what we do. I said, yeah, at times, right? We got to execute. And so your scheme, it doesn't matter if you don't know it or you don't execute it. So I think that was good to hear from our players. They just kind of got a little confidence of like, oh, cool, they're doing it on the biggest stage, and that's what we're trying to do. And you've just seen it a little bit in practice. I don't have any ego, so if they got to watch all SEC film to gain confidence when we're asking them to, that's fine. Eventually, we'll get good film of them doing it, and we can share that.
And is that a good sign, knowing the fact that they can see what you're trying to do, and that other teams are trying to do the same things, knowing the fact that schematically we're not asking you to do what other teams are being asked to do?
Yeah, it just reaffirms what we're doing. We talk about common sense football, and we go through the rules. And even at the highest level, you see guys making mistakes, and it's really interesting and fun when you get a text from a player who's just like, it's a screenshot of a play, and it's like, Coach, we've talked about this. Can you believe this guy? Coach, we've talked about this. Oh my goodness, I can't believe they made that mistake. Their football IQ is getting better and it's getting higher, and they're starting to look at the game like coaches, which highly critical, hard to enjoy the game as much, but good for us on Saturdays.
But when you how do you connect all those things involved? I guess from them seeing what's happening from an X's and O standpoint and practically applying that knowledge when you go out onto the field, whether it be practice or in a game?
Yeah, so it starts a couple different ways, whether it's our walkthrough, whether it's the resources we use, right? Huddle for video or the other apps and things that we have. So, our guys all learn differently. Some watch film. They all watch film, but some learn better from film. Some learn better from diagrams, giving them sheets so you can draw it. Some need to get on the whiteboard and talk it through. And I think our staff does a really good job of putting ownership on them, right? If we just talk to them the whole time, they're going to try and memorize it. But if they can teach it to us, teach it to their teammates, then they truly understand it. And it's only going to help them as they go out there and get reps and develop muscle memory. So we try to give it to them every way possible. Walk through. They're probably going to see it 3 different ways before they ever apply it.
Sounds like the basis of education based athletics, right?
No doubt. No doubt.
And this week, you make the trip down to Dubuque, a team that knocked Cole from the ranks of the conference unbeatens last week. What impresses you about the Spartans?
They're very talented. And, they were down. They go up. Really, they hadn't moved the ball very much, and then they get 2 turnovers. They score off of that. So when opportunities arise or they create them, they take advantage of them. So we can't give them anything. And they played hard all the way through. And there were, it kind of came down to, I think, 5 plays, and all 5 of those plays that were critical, Dubuque executed on, and that was the difference. And so we got a team that's really excited, and it's going to be homecoming, and they got a lot of confidence. They just beat a team that beat us pretty well. And so they should be confident. And I know we're excited for the matchup too, because we haven't beaten Dubuque in a long time.
All right, Coach, here's hoping that can happen come Saturday. Keep your guys healthy. We wish best of luck.
Thanks, Darren. Appreciate your time.
Joe Troche, head coach of the Luther College Norse.